All right, and are we live? I do believe we are. Let us get the music started. There we are, some traditional Russian waltzes for a traditional Russian fairy tale evening. Only a few tales tonight because it's getting late once again, but hello and welcome to Storytime. I'm your host, Brett. Glad to have you here. Let me turn this up a little bit. There we are. I'll probably have to turn it down a little bit, but anyway, shall we get started? First things first, find me on Facebook if you like, Brett Picconi. You can also find the Facebook group, Storytime, 2 words, exclamation point at the end. Then, YouTube, B Picconi1, that's my preferred place for you to find me. YouTube, B Picconi1, make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, and go ahead and share it with your friends. Please comment if you would like a shout out or a huzzah of some sort. Yes, because I do give shout outs, plenty of them, and I do give huzzahs. Huzzahs are kind of my staple now. I think so, at least. So please leave a comment, share it with your friends. Oh, damn. Wiping off my glasses just made them even more smeared and worse than they were before. That's no good. Damn. I'll have to wait until afterward to fix that. I've got a nice cloth that'll be good at getting rid of that smear problem. Anyway, starting late because, I was doing something in the kitchen earlier. I was making custard, and it's going to be good. I see Grey Wolf has joined us. Huzzah! And I see Amber has joined us. Huzzah! Caught it on time this time. Yes, you did. I didn't, but you did. And hello, Governor. Yes, hello to you too. Glad to have you. Yes, anyway, finally though, there's YouTube and then Twitch. Brett Doesn't Game, all one word. So join me on Twitch. That is, that'd be cool too. Although, like I said, I do prefer YouTube. Because the more subscribers I can get, the better. That's good news for me. Huzzah! Anyway, shall we? We're going to read a few Russian fairy tales tonight. Starting with one titled, The Milk of the Wild Beasts. Yes, beasts. There's no R in there. So, in a certain land, not in our kingdom, there lived a king who had a son named Ivan and a daughter named Elena the Fair. The bear with iron fur appeared in this kingdom and began to eat the king's subjects. What a bastard. He ordered a high tower to be built, seated Prince Ivan and Elena the Fair on top of it, and provided them with supplies for 5 years. The bear ate up all the people, ran into the royal palace, and out of spite began to gnaw a birch broom. I see Kathleen has joined us. Huzzah! Glad for you to be here. Yes, I do a lot of, it's good to see you, glad you're here, and yes, baking a custard. Well, not baking a custard, but cooking a custard. It's actually pretty easy. You get a cup of cream and a cup of milk in a saucepan, and you begin to heat that with 1 split vanilla bean. I used 2, because I like a stronger vanilla flavor. And then on the side, you whisk 4 egg yolks with 2 teaspoons of cornstarch and 2/3 of a cup of sugar. No, a 1/3 cup of sugar, just a 1/3 cup. Get that until it's creamy. Then once you start to see bubbles on the outside of the milk and cream mixture that's heating on the stove, low to low medium heat, take half of it and pour it into your egg mixture and whisk it real good. You don't want it curdling the eggs. And then slowly drizzle that into the cream, so that and whisk all the while so that it doesn't curdle. You want it to come together nice and smooth, and you slowly cook it. Don't boil it, whatever you do, but slowly cook it. And once it's to the point where it's thickened, you set it aside and you cover it and put it in the fridge overnight, and it will thicken up nice and good into a very good custard. So I'm looking forward to it very much. Anyway, where was I? Ah, yes. The bear ate up all the people, ran into the royal palace, and out of spite began to gnaw a birch broom. "Do not bite me, bear with iron fur," the broom said to him. "Instead, go out into the open. There you will see a tower, and on that tower sit Prince Ivan and Elena the Fair." The bear came to the tower and began to shake it. Prince Ivan took fright and threw him some food. The bear ate it and lay down to sleep. And yes, it's going to be very good, Grey Wolf. I'm glad you agree. The bear slept, and Prince Ivan and Elena the Fair ran away as fast as they could. On the road they met a horse. "Horse, horse, save us!" they cried. But no sooner had they mounted the horse than the bear caught up with them. He tore the horse to pieces, took the prince and princess in his jaws, and brought them back to the pillar. They gave him food. He ate it, and again he went to sleep. The bear slept, and Prince Ivan and Elena the Fair ran away as fast as they could. On the way, they met some geese. "Geese, geese, save us!" they cried. They sat on the geese and flew off. The bear awoke, singed the geese with a flame. This is one mighty bear. And brought the prince and the princess back to the pillar. Again they gave him food. He ate it, and again he fell asleep. The bear slept, and Prince Ivan and Elena the Fair ran away as fast as they could. On the road stood a 3-year-old bullock. "Bullock, bullock, save us!" the bear. "Save us! The bear with iron fur is pursuing us." "Sit on me," said the bullock. "You, Prince Ivan, sit with your back to my head, and when you see the bear coming, tell me." As soon as the bear caught up with them, the bullock relieved himself and pasted the bear's eyes shut with dung. Oh my! Whew! 3 times the bear caught up with them, and 3 times the bullock pasted his eyes shut. Then the bullock began to cross a river. The bear went into the water after him and drowned. Wow! A mighty bear that can't swim. I mean, it flamed some geese down. I don't even know how it did that. I didn't know bears had flames. Ivan and Elena were hungry, and the bullock said to them, "Slaughter me and eat my flesh, but gather my bones together and strike them. From them will arise a little fist of a man, as big as an inch, with a beard a cubit long." It's this guy. "He will do everything for you that needs to be done." Time went by. They had eaten the bullock and again wanted to eat. They lightly struck the bones, and the little fist of a man appeared. They went to the woods. In the woods there stood a house, and that house was a robber's lair. Little Fist killed the robbers and their chieftain, and put their bodies in a certain room. Oh my! He told Elena not to go there, but she could not restrain herself, looked in, and fell in love with the chieftain's head. She asked Prince Ivan to get for her the water of life and the water of death. As soon as she had the water of life and the water of death, she brought the chieftain back to life and plotted with him how to destroy Prince Ivan. Why? Why? He's your brother! First they sent him to get wolf's milk. Prince Ivan... Crystal, to answer your question, I have no idea, but huzzah! Glad you're here! Yes, apparently this princess fell in love with a bandit chieftain's head, severed head, and had him brought back to life, and now she's plotting with the chieftain how to kill her brother, who saved her and stuff. Well, didn't exactly save her, but who she's been adventuring with, and they escaped together and lived together, and have been together for a long time as brother and sister, and seems like they've gotten along. Okay, they haven't, no, nothing ew. Oh, wait, except for the head thing. Yes, the head thing. I don't know why she fell in love with the head. Either way, let us continue. Prince Ivan went with Little Fist. They found the she-wolf and said to her, "Give us some milk." She asked them to take her wolf cub too, because he was a good-for-nothing. Having taken the milk and the young wolf, they came back to Elena the Fair. They gave her the milk and kept the young wolf for themselves. Since the lovers had not been able to destroy Prince Ivan in this way, they sent him to get bear's milk. Oh, my. Prince Ivan and Little Fist went to get bear's milk. They found the she-bear and said, "Give us some milk." She asked them to take the young bear too, because he was a good-for-nothing. Taking the milk and the young bear, they came back to Elena the Fair. That rhymed a little bit. Yes, I don't know about it either some days, Amber. Although, to be honest, I don't know about it most days. Taking the milk and the young bear, they came back to Elena the Fair. They gave her the milk and kept the young bear. Since the lovers had not been able to destroy Prince Ivan in this way either, they sent him to get lion's milk. Prince Ivan went with Little Fist. They found the lioness and took her milk, and she asked them to take her lion cub too, because he was a good-for-nothing. Surprise, surprise! What's next? A dragon milk? They returned to Elena the Fair, gave her the milk, and kept the young lion. The chieftain and Elena the Fair, seeing that Prince Ivan could not be destroyed in this way, sent him to get the eggs of the firebird. Oh, interesting. Prince Ivan and Little Fist went to get the eggs. They found the firebird, but when they tried to take the eggs, she became enraged and swallowed Little Fist. And Prince Ivan went home without the eggs. He came to Elena the Fair and told her that he had been unable to get the eggs and that the firebird had swallowed Little Fist. Elena the Fair and the chieftain were overjoyed and thought that Prince Ivan would be helpless now without Little Fist. They ordered him to be killed. Prince Ivan heard this order and asked his sister whether he might bathe before dying. You wanted a whole scene about trying to milk a bear. You know, that would have been interesting, wouldn't it have? I wonder what bear milk tastes like. That's a thought I never thought I would have. Anyway, moving on. Elena the Fair ordered the bath to be heated. Prince Ivan went to the bath, and Elena the Fair sent someone to tell him to wash faster. Prince Ivan did not obey her. He continued washing himself unhurriedly. Suddenly, the young wolf, the young bear, and the young lion ran to him and told him that Little Fist had escaped from the firebird and would soon come to him. Prince Ivan ordered them to lie down on the threshold and kept on washing. Elena the Fair again sent someone to tell him to wash faster, and that if he did not finish soon, she would come herself. Prince Ivan still disobeyed her and did not come out of the bath. Well, yeah, screw that. Your sister's a bitch. Elena the Fair waited and waited, became impatient, and with the chieftain went to see what Prince Ivan was doing. When she came to the bath, she saw that he was still washing himself and had not obeyed her order. She grew angry and boxed his ear. Suddenly, Little Fist appeared, ordered the young wolf, the young bear, and the young lion to tear the chieftain to pieces, little pieces, and tied Elena naked to a tree so that her body might be devoured by mosquitoes and flies. Oh, shit. Then he and Prince Ivan set out traveling. In the distance, they beheld a great palace. Shit, man, shit. Little Fist said, "Do you not want to marry Prince Ivan? In this house lives a champion maiden. She seeks a brave youth who is strong enough to defeat her." They went to her house. Before reaching it, Prince Ivan mounted a horse. Little Fist mounted behind him, and they challenged the champion maiden to combat. They fought and fought. The champion maiden struck Prince Ivan in the chest, and he almost fell to the ground, but Little Fist held him. Then Prince Ivan struck the champion maiden with his spear, and she fell from her horse at once. When he had knocked her down, she said, "Now, Prince Ivan, you may marry me." Yes, that's how it's done. That's how you court a lady, young lad. Speedily a tale is spun, less speedily a deed is done. Prince Ivan married the champion maiden. And that's another way of saying long story short. "Well, Prince Ivan," Little Fist said to him, "if you don't feel well the first night, come to me. I will help you in your trouble." Oh, will you? Prince Ivan went to bed with the champion maiden. Suddenly she put her hand on his chest and he fell ill. He asked her to let him go out. When he got outside, he called Little Fist and told him that the champion maiden wanted to strangle him. Little Fist went to the champion maiden and began to belabor her, repeating, "Respect your husband! Respect your husband!" From then on, they began to live happily and to prosper. What the hell, man? Some time later, the champion maiden asked Prince Ivan to untie Elena the Fair and to take her to live in their house. He straightway sent to have her untied and brought to him. "She's still alive?" Elena the Fair lived in his house for a long time. One day she said to him, "Brother, let me pick the lice from your head." She began to pick the lice and thrust a dead tooth into his head. Prince Ivan began to die. Oh no. The young lion saw that Prince Ivan was dying and pulled the dead tooth out. The prince began to come back to life, and the young lion began to die. The young bear pulled out the tooth. The young lion began to come back to life, and the young bear began to die. A fox saw that he was dying. She pulled out the dead tooth, and because she was cleverer than all of them, when she had pulled out the tooth, she threw it into a pan and crumbled it to pieces. To punish his sister for this wicked deed, Prince Ivan ordered that Elena the Fair be tied to the tail of a mighty horse, and that the horse be set loose in the open field. I mean, it kind of serves her right, the wretched bitch. I was there and drank mead. It ran down my mustache, but did not go into my mouth. One of these days, we're going to have a male person who's terrible in these stories, which we've actually had a number of them, and they are dicks, absolute dicks. And right, exactly, Grey Wolf. He'd trust her to touch him after all that. What the hell, man? She may be a wretched bitch, but he is a fucking moron. What's wrong with you, Ivan? Ivan drinking? Maybe? Perhaps? Well, let's read another couple of stories before we call it a night, shall we? This next one is called How a Husband Weaned His Wife from Fairy Tales. Okay. There once was an innkeeper whose wife loved fairy tales above all else and accepted as lodgers only those who could tell stories. Of course, the husband suffered loss because of this, and he wondered how he could wean his wife away from fairy tales. One night in winter, at a late hour, an old man shivering with cold asked him for shelter. The husband ran out and said, "Can you tell stories? My wife does not allow me to let anyone who cannot tell stories." What are you all laughing at? I see these lol comments. What did I say that was so funny? Reading a fairy tale to wean people off fairy tales. Yes, that's correct. And fuckity fuck. My fucking internet connection sucks fucking ass. Sorry for the profanity, but goodness gracious. Anyway, I'm live again, everyone. Hello. You probably got kicked out because it was like, uh-oh, something wrong. I see Joy has joined in as well. Huzzah! Hello, Joy. Anyway, let's start that tale over again. How a husband weaned his wife from fairy tales. There was once an innkeeper whose wife loved fairy tales above all else and accepted as lodgers only those who could tell stories. It's true, Crystal, I did swear. I got a little angry. A little bit. Just a little. Of course, the husband suffered loss because of this, and he wondered how he could wean his wife away from fairy tales. One night in winter, at a late hour, an old man shivering with cold asked him for shelter. The husband ran out and said, "Can you tell stories? My wife does not allow me to let in anyone who cannot tell stories." The old man saw that he had no choice. He was almost frozen to death. He said, "I can tell stories." "And will you tell them for a long time?" "All right." No, he says, "All night." "Oh, all night, eh?" And in Russian you say, I can't read Russian, my friend. I'm sorry. It's a different alphabet there. They have English letters too, but or Roman, whatever. They have, regular. I can't say regular because they have a different alphabet than mine, so I can't read that. Perhaps you'll just have to say it for me sometime. Anyway, so far so good. They let the old man in. Na hui. What do you mean, hui? They let the old man in. The husband said, "Wife, this peasant has promised to tell stories all night long, but only on condition that you do not argue with him or interrupt him." The old man said, "Yes, there must be no interruptions or I will not tell any stories." They ate supper and went to bed. Then the old man began. An owl flew by a garden, sat on a tree trunk and drank some water. An owl flew into a garden, sat on a tree trunk and drank some water. He kept on saying again and again, "An owl flew into a garden, sat on a tree trunk and drank some water." The wife listened and then said, "What kind of story is this? He keeps repeating the same thing over and over." "Why do you interrupt me? I told you not to argue with me. That was only the beginning. It was going to change later." The husband, upon hearing this, and it was exactly what he wanted to hear, jumped down from his bed and began to belabor his wife. "You were told not to argue, and now you have not let him finish his story." And he thrashed her so that she began to hate stories, and from that time on, forswore listening to them. Fucking A! I said something about hoping there would soon be a story where it was a bad man and just that I would call him a dick, and sure enough, we have a dickhead here. Fuck. Na hui. Oh, that's the pronunciation. Oh, gotcha. Na hui. So that's where the word hui comes from. A bunch of hui. Already at the beginning of this story, she should divorce him. You know, Crystal, you're probably right. Probably right. Let's move on to what I hope is a much happier story. It's called The Cock and the Hen. What could be wrong with that? It's a very short story. Oh, first thing I look down and I see the line, little cock, and that's just like, that can't be a good story. We'll see. A hen and a cock lived together. One day they went to the woods for nuts. Sorry, 7-year-old Brett here. They came to a hazel tree. The cock climbed up the tree to pick nuts, and the hen remained on the ground to gather them up for the winter. Then the cock threw a nut. Threw a nut that hit the hen's eye and knocked it out. So the cock nutted in the hen's eye. The hen went away crying. I truly am 7 years old. Oh, the hen went away crying. Some boyars drove by and asked, little hen, why are you crying?" "The cock knocked out my eye." Little cock, why did you knock out the hen's eye?" "The hazel tree tore my trousers." Hazel tree, why did you tear the cock's trousers?" "Because the goats ate my bark." Goats, why did you eat the hazel tree's bark?" "Because the shepherds do not tend us." Shepherds, why don't you tend the goats?" "Because the peasant's wife does not give us pancakes." What the hell? Peasant's wife, why don't you give the shepherds pancakes?" "Because my pig spilled my dough." Pig, why did you spill the dough?" "Because the wolf carried off my piglet." Wolf, why did you carry off the piglet?" "I was hungry and God told me to eat." I don't know where that story went. It's got a little illustration here. That was a nonsense story. It was a nonsense story. But that was a good bit of fun in the beginning there. That was hilarious. That was super hilarious. Or at least I think it was. Oh my, so we're going to call it tonight there, but next weekend we will pick up with The Fox and the Lobster. I have yet to see a lobster in a Russian fairy tale, so this should be exciting indeed. Oh, by the way, tomorrow night I will be having an early story time, probably around 8 o'clock, just so you all know. At least that's the plan. So, plan for that. In the meantime, I bid you adieu. It did make me laugh, Crystal. It did make me laugh indeed. The story made me laugh quite a lot. The first third to half of it, at least. It was something else. It made you laugh too, didn't it? So, like I said, it could be a rock lobster. I'm not sure, though. It could be. It's possible. I suppose anything is possible. But anyway, Brett Pecorning on Facebook. Storytime, 2 words, exclamation point at the end. I will definitely admit you. YouTube, BPecorny1, make sure you like this video now. Right when I said now, then. If you missed it, then you missed it. No, it's not true. You can still hit like. It's not, nothing is stopping you. Unless you already hit like, in which case, huzzah! Regardless, like it. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share it with your friends. Comment as much as you please. And finally, Twitch, Brett Doesn't Game. All one word. Until next time, my dear friends, I bid you adieu. That's tomorrow, by the way. Like I said, probably around 8. And it will be Dracula.